Hey everyone, I wanted to try something a little bit different to accompany my blog post this week. I am adding video in as an optional feature. So if you would prefer to read the article, by all means go right ahead. But if you would prefer to watch me talk it through, this is something new that I'm adding. So what I've started to realize is that I know the intention of my blog is to talk about career progression and all of the, I guess, like personal experiences and the lifestyle, like aspects behind it. But with this pandemic, no one wants to hear about that right now. And quite honestly, I don't even want to talk about it. So what I am going to do is refocus the next couple weeks here, just something a little bit different, just so that we can all I guess take the pressure off of ourselves to continually be growing in our career and just exist right now and try and find some happiness in all of this madness. So what I want to talk about this week is the fact that I am super achievement driven. It is almost to a fault because I'm so passionate about pushing things forward and making it like something I'm constantly working on. So if I'm not getting some sort of success out of it, I'm very likely to give up in what I am working on. So I actually took this weekend as a reminder to slow down. I did not expect some of these outcomes, so I wanted to share it with you. I kind of just took my weekend really slow and just let things kind of happen and meander through it. And I was actually really grateful for some of the things that we ended up doing. So, number one, I planned on sleeping in. This is something I haven't done in a really long time. I don't think I've slept past 9 a.m. since, I can't even remember. Typically it's when I'm hungover, but that really doesn't happen anymore with the amount of alcohol that I cannot consume based on my acid reflux. Regardless, we ended up sleeping in until about 10 or 11 o'clock each morning. And I thought to myself, I thought I would lose, the desire and the oomph to continue on with my day, but I was actually really ready to tackle everything and take things on. So I'm looking at kind of implementing 1 day a week to sleeping in, even though some studies say that you probably shouldn't sleep in, whatever. I don't even care. It felt good, so that's something that I'm planning on implementing after this shelter in place is over. The second thing that I did this weekend was I made a homemade brunch. AJ and I actually took turns making homemade brunch. On Saturday, he did a omelet with some sort of hot dog meat. It sounds really gross, but it was really tasty. And then on Sunday, I made some chocolate chip pancakes. And it kind of reminded me from when I was younger. My mom had this really good routine every Sunday morning. She would get up and do the works, waffles, pancakes, eggs, sausage, bacon. Sometimes there was hash browns. We had so much fun, and we grew to expect it as kids. I'm a huge brunch junkie, if any of you guys know me well. I love my unlimited mimosas, and I love going to different parts of Chicago to try out different brunch specials, but there's something different about making brunch on your own. So what I've decided to adopt is at least 1 day a week where we sit down and we make a brunch. So probably on the days that we end up sleeping in. The third thing that we did was this is kind of like a guilty pleasure for me, and that is watching reality TV. Now, I'm pretty specific about my reality TV that I watch. I am a huge fan of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Also newly released Love is Blind. I am obsessed, so if you're just as obsessed, please let me know and we can talk about it together. So I do like those dating shows. Secondly, I enjoy pretty much anything that I missed from my childhood. And when I say childhood, I mean more of like my teen years. I never watched Simple Life or The Hills or Laguna Beach or anything. So catching back up on those, even though the shows now are so terrible and I'm realizing that, I just kind of want to know what the plot is. So that's part of my intrigue there. And to kind of compare it to what the reality TV is now. The third thing, and I kind of want to put this in its own category, is America's Next Top Model, because I love Tyra Banks, because I'm rooting for her. We're all rooting for her. Super fun. I've probably seen every season. Another one that I love is Intervention. I know this one's kind of dark, but I find the psychological aspects of addiction really interesting. So thank you, April, my sister, for getting me hooked on that. And finally, the last thing that I love watching is Cupcake Wars. I like to go back and recreate some of these recipes. So every once in a while, you'll catch me recreating a Cupcake Wars recipe. But what we found this weekend was Nailed It, which takes your average baker and gives them one of the challenges that's kind of fancy, like a Cupcake Wars or like Great British Baking Show type of thing. The results are absolutely hilarious. Some guy was using a slotted spoon to whisk something. It was like super anxiety inducing, but also kind of fun. So gave me a little bit of inspiration to, I don't know, try out maybe some new recipes or start diving back into dessert making. It's something that I haven't done in a really long time, but I'm willing to, take it back up. Finally, the last thing that I did, and what a lot of people are doing, are taking online classes. And these online classes, whether it be fitness classes or some type of education class, this one specifically that I took was a stretch class taught by Abby F. Up in Minnesota. So thank you so much, Abby. This back stretch class we did on Saturday night, and I just opened up my Zoom meeting and rolled out my mat with both my blocks and went at it. We had a great time stretching, and it kind of felt like I was in class, weirdly enough. So I don't know if you guys have ever, experienced one of those yet, but it was a lot of fun. One of the things that I had adopted while I was traveling was that I would visit different studios, kind of like, as like a add-on or like a bonus as I was traveling across different states for work. So I've been to, San Francisco, or actually, yeah, I've been to San Francisco Pole Dance Academy. I'd also been to San Diego Pole Dance. I've been to B-Spun, Chrome Bar, Dollhouse up in Minnesota, of course, all of my Chicago studios, and Shine down here in Texas. There's even a couple smaller ones that I had been to. I apologize, I don't remember the names of them offhand, but what's really cool now is that I'm able to take classes at all of those places right at my fingertips here. So if you haven't taken advantage of them, definitely take advantage of them now, because the classes are run really well as far as I've experienced, and I'm looking at incorporating that back into my routine. What I'd really love to see is some of these studios adopting almost like a Peloton experience, once the studios are back up and running. Maybe there is an opportunity to have students in class and then also at home taking the class. So hopefully, if opportunities pan out there, we could start to see different business models for some of these pole studios and get some different clientele in there. But what I realized more so from this weekend was that momentum doesn't mean that you're constantly in motion. Momentum for me now means, the discipline to pick it back up. I took it slow, took it easy, and I found some things that I really enjoyed that I really want to put back into my routine. So how have you been taking it slow? If you're someone who's constantly moving forward and constantly, aiming for the next thing to achieve, How have you taken it slow during this pandemic, and how are you incorporating those things into your routine, or how do you plan on incorporating them back into your routine once shelter in place is over? This is a time to catch our breaths. So, have you caught yours?